Hi, guys. Welcome back to the In My Healing Bag podcast. It has been about a year since I've actually recorded another podcast. And I think what's been holding me back is feeling like I need to be, make sure y'all can see me, feeling like I need to be in a certain form of presentation or at a certain place in my life where I can talk to y'all. And I have so much to share, but I felt like I needed to have a certain presentation, certain form of production, a certain format of the show. But honestly, I don't want to do that anymore. I think my life has been shifting and changing and transforming to the point where I'm just like, I'm going to give my audience me, and whatever that looks like is what resonates the most. And previously, the podcast has been strictly audio. I also had uploaded it to YouTube, and I was also working a full-time job, so I was flying by the seat of my pants just to get it done. And I wanted to make sure that I had it produced correctly, and I had the intro song, and I had the segments going. But honestly, I don't want to do that anymore. I think the way that I show up on this platform, I want it to be honest and authentic. And the content that resonates with me the most is when people are in their raw form. And I want to show up that way as well because that's what I resonate with the most. I'm not the clean cut format type girl. I am the turn the camera on, yapping around my mouth. And I've seen that it's worked on my personal platform, my author platform, and I'm like, why am I showing up authentically in these spaces but not in this space? And I found that I've had to reassess how I'm showing up in the spirituality space. And I think for the most part, I felt like I had to be a certain archetype in the spiritual community. I thought I had to have a certain aesthetic in order to attract a community of people around me. But now that I think about it, I don't want a community that is attached to a false version of myself. Now, granted, there are my stories and how I show up and what I speak and what I share has been real, but I think me putting so much pressure on myself to look a certain way, to be put together, has what's been hindering and holding me back from creating more content on this platform. Um, and I think I started being and showing up real and raw how I always do, whether it's on TikTok with my bonnet on and these videos with my robe on and my onesie, that I realized this side of my platform deserves to see me real and raw too. And I think that's what encouraged me to do my collective messages for the Angelic Hotline. But I'm like, I'm going to do this for the podcast too. So moving forward, the podcast will really not have a format. It's still called In My Healing Bag because I'm in my healing bag. And primarily, I'm going to share my journey. And I do want to continue to share like what's in my healing bag. So we might keep that for the end of the video. But if I miss it, forgive me. It's just we're flying by the seat of our pants. This will still be showing up on Spotify now that Spotify allows you to upload YouTube videos onto, or just video format podcasts on their platform. I will do that as well. But YouTube, I feel like when it comes to my spiritual content, I'm going full throttle because I've always loved YouTube and I love TikTok, but it's really hard to share the richness and the depth of the content that I have to share with only 10 minutes. So I feel like video format is the best when it comes to my spiritual stuff. Let me stop this because I have been having trouble with the audio picking up because my Wi-Fi has been tripping with this mic. So let me check and then we'll get back into it. Perfecto. It's been working. But while we're here, I wanted to draw a card from the Drag Queen deck. If you're interested, Drag Queen Oracle. If you're interested, link in bio. This is not social media. I have to get used to saying. In the description, I have an Amazon link in my Amazon shop where you can check it out. But I pulled a card today to be our mic holder, and it was 10, 10, 10s across the board. Love it. And I hope this message is not only for me, but for you. That for me, it screams the energy of 10 of Cups, which is celebration. You know, you have the rainbow, which is super gay as fuck. But there's 10 cups in the sky, and people are looking up and they're celebrating. And so, actually, to clarify, I feel like the message for this moment is there's so much to celebrate. We oftentimes look at the things that we don't have. We look at who we feel like we need to be, which is in line with what I was saying. Like, I feel like I need to be a certain type of person to receive success, but we have everything we need within inside we have everything we need and it is inside of us, and so we need to look inward and not outward, not look at the lack, not compare ourselves, but look at the richness that we have within and show up as your authentic self. But I am going to find it in the book just to get some more context. Is this considered a major arcana card? I don't know. Oh, I just found it. Baby, one thing I love about these books is when they have how cute, when they have a contents page, because I hate looking for stuff. Okay, 10 10 10s across the board. Or it says tens across the board, but it says 10 10 10s across the board. In ballroom culture, judges award points for each category from face to hands performance to bizarre, the ballroom term for outside the box performance. Usually, this means holding the scorecards written with larger than life numbers. A perform I cannot read. A performer who earns tens across the board has slayed their competition and won over the hard to please judges. As with many ballroom sayings, tens across the board had been picked up beyond the community to mean anyone living their best life and impressing the judges, real or metaphorical. When this card is drawn, embody that perfect score. Y'all, why can't I read? Embody that perfect score. Whether you're being judged by the world or you're your own harshest critic, strut your stuff like the trophy is within reach. Which, me stuttering is an example of how hard it is to show up as our authentic selves. And what stood out to me was like perfect. Perfect is a subjective term. Perfection is not the goal for me, and I don't think it should be the goal for you, because I think perfect is just exemplifying other people's standards. So whatever that looks like for you, show up 100% as yourself. And I was going to just like ramble and figure out like what I wanted to talk about. I had something in mind, but I think I'm going to talk about showing up authentically as yourself. Like, how hard is it to be authentically yourself when you're in a world that shames you for being that? Like, just thinking about my story of I'm black in the South, grew up Christian, I'm a lesbian, I'm neurodivergent, I'm self-employed, I'm an artist, I'm a multi-hyphenate, I don't align with girl boss culture, I refuse to hustle. Like, there's so many things that my existence does not align with what is mainstream, that I absolutely love being myself, because I feel like authenticity is radical. It's showing up as yourself is just like rebellion, and I hate that. But like, I feel like when you're pushing against societal norms and you're no longer aligning with what society says you should be, there's a radicalness to it. There's a specific word I wanted to use. It's an act of resistance, because I'm thinking about everything that's going on right now in the world, and just politics and black people dying and just our existence being just so political, that joy is an act of resistance. And I feel like authenticity at this point in time is an act of resistance, because not only is the world changing and it is vastly harming humanity, being able to show up as yourself unapologetically, not assimilating to protect yourself or to survive, but actually being yourself despite the odds, the empowerment of showing up in your form of expression, whether you like to dye your eyebrows blonde, whether you want to shave your head, just challenging the norms of femininity, masculinity, whatever that looks like, that is an act of resistance. How powerful is it to show up as yourself? And as I'm talking to you, I'm talking to myself. And if I'm staring off, y'all, I'm just thinking out loud. I promise I wouldn't look at your beautiful faces. But it's just so powerful to be yourself, and I'm learning. Like, if you've been following me on other platforms, you know I lost my job, and I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back to me really being myself 100% and no longer masking to be environments out of survival, because I felt like I needed this check, because I felt like I had to show up a certain way or be a certain way to keep my job or to look hireable. I'm done with that BS. Like, one thing I've learned on this journey of just grief, I hope y'all cannot hear these mosquitoes because they are so loud. But I'm praying y'all can hear me. But showing up authentic of myself costs nothing, but it costs everything to assimilate. It costs everything, especially as neurodivergent, to mask and to try to suppress your feelings and push yourself down to be 100% yourself. So I challenge you to think like, am I showing up 100% as myself? And the answer is no. I question you to ask why. Are there certain versions of yourself that you hide when it's working in certain relationships for the comfort of others? What would your life look like if you showed up 100% yourself? How can you begin to show up as yourself? Do you want a specific nose piercing, a tattoo? Do you want to dye your hair a certain color? Have you been wanting to try a type of style? Me, I find myself, now that life is a clean slate and I've been doing a lot of just isolating and hermit mode, I really want to get out. And I've been struggling pushing with that, because I feel like even in grief, I feel like I should be at home, hermit mode. But I really want to get out. But I also finding myself no longer resonating with the clothes in my closet because I felt like that version of me not only has died, but I no longer resonate with who she was that worked that job, who she was that showed up in a certain way to please others. And so now every time I try to find something where it doesn't resonate, so I find that I want to try a different style. I want to be able to show up in a way and form of expression that suits the new version of myself. And right now I'm not in the space to buy a new wardrobe, but how can I make a Picasso or a mosaic of the clothes that I do have? How can I find new ways to be authentically myself? Even with my hair, I feel like I love my hair, but I no longer resonate with it. So I feel like I'm at an intersection of, I'm not at an intersection. I'm on this forward path. I'm at a checkpoint, checking, do I want to continue to show up as the version of myself from the past, or do I want to move forward and be a certain version of myself? Even as simple as going to the gym. Like, in my mind and in my being, I feel there's this version of me attached to the gym, and the energy and the adrenaline and the excitement and the dopamine that you get from going to the gym helps you up, like uplifts you. It just feels good. Like, even mentally, seeing that you can lift a certain weight or pass yourself, like get past a certain milestone, makes you feel good. And I've been avoiding going to the gym because I think I'm scared of the new version of myself. I think she's very accountable. I think she's very like aware of herself, and I think she holds back nothing. And a part of that is scary because I've seen this version of me in other people. Like, our lives are mirrors, and the people that we engage with or get to witness or bring awareness to reflect things back to us. And when we see that as admiration. So I've admired the tenacity and the certainty and the confidence that other people that experience their fitness journey have, that I desire for myself. And sometimes I become intimidated by them, and that looks like having jealousy because I'm insecure in my ability to get there, that I feel like I don't deserve it, so I feel like I should be jealous of them. But that is not fair. I think admiration and seeing people living lives or doing things or showing up in the way that you desire should be encouragement that you can do it too. That we are all have access to a life, to energy, to this version of ourselves that we desire, and we can. And so I no longer want to be afraid of being that version of myself. And it's really hard because when, as someone with ADHD and just neurodivergence in general, and I've tried not to resonate so much with that identity, but I have to accept that it is a disability because I can't live my life the way that those people live their lives or the way that I think I should. And I think when I see these versions of let's say, let's take the fitness girly for example. I want to feel better in my body. I want to be disciplined, and I see a fitness girly online and I compare myself, I think that they're doing it every single day. Or maybe they are. So I automatically pressure myself that the only reason that why the only way that I can access that version of myself is through doing it every single day at the same time. But being neurodivergent, I know that routines are great for me, but doing the same thing every day gets boring, and I won't be consistent. I could do it for a week, 2 weeks, 30 days, but after I'll be burnt out. So I'm also having to release the idea of that I have to be a certain person or that I have to show up a certain way to become that person. What all I have to do is start. Maybe I feel low energy and I just go stretch and go walk in the park. Maybe it looks like lifting weights. So releasing that expectation has to look a certain way, that I'm just doing it for myself. The goal isn't what others are doing, it's what I desire to do that's aligned with me. And as I'm talking to you, I'm realizing like the name of this episode, I'm going to say this here so I remember to name it before I get, is that self love and authenticity is resistance. Okay, back to regular schedule programs. I have to stop looking outwardly for inspiration and go within. I am a visual learner. I am clairvoyant. Everything I see, I believe I can achieve. But I love Pinterest boards. I love vision boards. I love looking at people's lives for inspiration for my own. But at some point, it becomes, I don't want to say idolatry, that's the wrong word, but I put these people on these pedestals to the point where I feel like they're more superior than I and I cannot achieve that life. Or I create this pressure on myself to do it exactly how they do. So I want to start no longer using other people's lives as inspiration, but using myself as an inspiration. How can I be the better person of myself today with my expectations? Because how many times do we put pressure on ourselves that nobody else is pressuring us to do? Or we think that we should live life a certain way, or we should be doing the same thing every single day, or whatever the routine, whatever it looks like. We set these high bars and these high standards, and we give them to ourselves, and then we get mad at ourselves and we punish ourselves when no one else knows that it's even happening. We put this whole pressure on ourselves. Like, you can make up in your mind today that you're going to go to the gym 5 times a week, and if you don't, which is unrealistic for me, I get mad and I put pressure on myself and then I punish myself. But who is holding me to this standard other than me? So how dare I punish myself to be something that I'm not? So I want to start making things that align with me. Y'all can talk about this all day. I low-key don't want to get off this video because I want to continue to rant because I love this. But I think I'm going to leave this here. And I just want to encourage you to take some time to think about the questions that I posed earlier. How are you showing up authentically as yourself? If you aren't, what is one thing that you could do today to show up authentically? And what are you losing by showing up authentically? Nothing. And if the question is, I could lose my job, I challenge you, is that the truth? And if it is the truth, why are you in an environment that does not allow you to be your authentic self? Thinking about what's in my healing bag, journaling. Simple as put. Journaling, self-reflection, outside is the best form of meditation. I'm out here looking at the nature. I'm looking at the trees, and it's so inspirational. So I challenge you to be in your healing bag to explore those questions and journal. It could look like writing. It could look like talking, but just, go inward, not outward. Thank you, Divine Collective, for watching. I love you guys so much. Do all of the things, like, comment, subscribe. If you're on Spotify listening, follow, comment, whatever you feel called to. All of my information for my services. Also, I have the Patreon. It's not really up and running right now because I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with y'all, but you can subscribe for free until you get the information on what will be happening because I am pivoting. That's another conversation for another day. But love you guys and see you in the next one.